What's going on, everybody? Back with another video, and today I want to talk a little bit about NBA 2K and this online problem. It is a thing that been plaguing the series for a while now. Now, for me that don't play online, I'm going to give my 2 cents about it. And I know people be like, "All right, you don't play online. Why are you talking about this?" Because this has been a problem for a long time, decades. And I'm not talking about the Zens and the Titans and the Chronos. I'm not talking about any of that, because that right there is just an added element to it, to where I'm gonna talk about that as well. But for the most part, it's been a problem for a very long time. So I'm gonna give my thoughts and opinions about it, and let's go ahead and get into it. Well, look, I've been playing NBA 2K25 for the last few weeks, and I've been loving the game. I think it's a phenomenal game. I think the last few 2Ks have been pretty solid. I have not gotten on NBA 2K26 for various reasons, and there's a reason why I do not buy the current game right away. I'll wait until at least the end of this life cycle, or when the life cycle is gone, to purchase the game, because the online situation has been an issue. It's been a big problem for a very long time. Even when you start to look at things like, let's say for instance, the patches in the game, and all these other things that they do to update the games, those type of things I really don't like to deal with, because if I play the game one way and then something gets nerfed or something gets buffed and things just out of whack because it's not a finished product anyway, I don't like to deal with stuff like that, because like I said, it ruins the experience for me. Give me the final product when they're not supporting it anymore. Give me the final product when it's not touched anymore, so I can play the game as is. And like I said, I've been playing 2K25, having a blast with it. And on top of that, the games be pretty cheap by the time that happens anyway. Now, a lot of people buy these games at 150, 125 dollars a pop, and they have a blast with it, and it's fine. But the problem with online is people do cheat, and that's one of the biggest things about this video, is the fact that people are cheating the game when it comes to chronos and using the Zen or with the Titan. They got all these scripts that make the game unplayable for people that's online. And this is why I just don't play on those platforms and play it online with people, because people want to have a competitive edge. I mean, they do that in all these games. And the problem with that is like nobody's really playing the game if they're going out of their way to do these type of things. Now, these things like Zens and all this stuff, it really wasn't a thing at one point. I remember when people used to just spend a bunch of money on VC and they be 99s, on day one, and it doesn't feel like, playing ball and having to grind. It doesn't even mean anything. And I get it. People spend the money how they want to spend, and that's cool. And I'm not telling people that whatever is right or wrong way. I just know for my preference, I like to just play pure basketball. I will sit here and just pick a team and just try my best with the team and actually build that team into something. And I think that's where 2K honestly really shines. 2K does a really good job of having players on the court differentiate for themselves, where you can find a way and strategy to actually win games if you do it properly. But the game has been pretty much exploited to the point where you are basically building a player and playing part or whatever, and you're just waging your money and waging VC, and that's just how NBA 2K is perceived right now. Now, I'm not saying that it's a widespread issue, because this is not a thing that necessarily touch the masses. This game 2K26 has already sold over 8 million copies, and it's probably going to end up selling 12 million by the time the NBA finals and all this stuff goes through. People are going to buy this game, and I'm going to be one of them. I'm going to buy the game when it's like $19 to $15, $19 to $15 or $19 to $25, because to me, it'll be worth it just to play straight basketball with the team. I'm not into all the other stuff, but the online stuff, it's just an issue, and I don't think it's going to go away unless 2K does something about it. Now, this is the thing about 2K. They're probably not going to do anything about this. They should, but they probably won't. And the reason behind that is you're dealing with a company that's making money hand over fist by having the game the way it is. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have any competition, and even when they had competition, it didn't help any matters anyway. 2K is just a monster when it comes to basketball gaming, and they're just going to do what they want to do. Until you stop supporting the game completely, that's when things will change. And you already see how that goes because Madden is the way it is, and nobody stopped supporting that. Now, I will admit, playing online in Madden, from what I've seen, is not as bad as it is on 2K. Madden, I've seen some players play Madden in a very respectable way, and it's fun and enjoyable to watch. Some guys out there content create. Matter of fact, I'm going to put the link down in the description to my buddy Sir Bishop. He just started his YouTube channel. He's been playing a lot of Madden. I'm gonna put the link down there. You can check his video out and look at some of the things that he's been doing on his live streams, playing Madden. Very, 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 very respectable. And I think that's one thing a lot of people are starting to feel about with with 2K, is the fact that there's no respect in the game no more. Everybody's using these devices, everybody's using these scripts, and they're just trying to, win the game at all costs. Some guys are shooting 3-pointers at 90%, a rate. They're making them at 90% rate, 93% shooting percentage. It's just unreal. They made it to the point where it's almost a little bit too arcadey. And this is the thing. I don't mind having a game with a little arcade spaz to it. I mean, we don't want a full-on simulation, but you want the game to be to the point where it is kind of believable when something happens. When you do make a layup, when you do make a shot, it felt like you worked for it and it makes sense. Nobody in NBA is shooting, 90% from the arc. And nobody's doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy, but that's just the way it is. And I'm not necessarily, mad about it because I just don't play online, But even before this, it was always an issue. When people used to buy VC up the yazoo, I was about to say something else, but I ain't gonna do that. When they buy VC up to the point where they're 99s off the rip, and day one they're out here like balling on the court, I'm like, man, I can't play with my friends like this. The last time I played on the park or whatever was 2K16. I played 2K16 with a couple of guys, and it was fun for a second, and then it just fell off because I think we got the game early, and we was playing, and like after that first week, man, people were just starting to flood in, and the park just wasn't about team. It wasn't about playing together. It wasn't about running up and down the court and actually have a squad. It was like, yo, everybody's out here, trying to, be the best at shooting. Nobody really want to play defense. Nobody want to get rebounds. Nobody want to set picks. Everybody just want to dribble and shoot, and that's fine. I guess that's what it's for, right? I really wish they would make an NBA Jam so they could do that, but that's just the way it is. But I'm not going to sit here and knock it. It is what it is. But I do know at the end of the day, I'll just find my fix after the game is not supported anymore. I'm having a blast with NBA 2K25, and right now NBA 2K26 is on sale for like $23 right now. I don't mind picking that up. Matter of fact, the Atlanta Hawks just had a pretty solid trade with a few players. I might just go there and just run a 14 game or 28 game season and see how far I can go with that. And I think I'll get my 20 something dollars money's worth, But as far as NBA 2K25, I got the Supersonics rolling right now. I actually created some expansion teams, and that might be my go-to game for the foreseeable future. Between that and even with NBA 2K14 on the PC, I've been having a blast with those games, and I think that's where my permanent fix is going to be. But I will continue to buy these games, these newer games, down the road at a cheaper price and just play offline. Like I said, when 2K26 that's out right now for 20 something dollars, 67% off, I'll probably buy that and do that with 27, 28, and so on and so on, because to me it's just not worth it anymore. Even when you're an offline gamer like me, the game is tied to online so bad. What you doing? Oh, okay. I got you. My son, he's playing his PlayStation 5. He's having a blast. But like I said, I'll just buy the games when they're necessarily cheap, and I'll just play them that way. Because even as an offline gamer, you deal with the online stuff when it comes to patches and the intrusiveness of my team. As soon as you load the game up, they put this stuff in your face about my team and this, that, and the third. I don't want to see that. I just want to play straight ball. I just want to ball. That's it. Even if I play against the CPU and they give me a good challenge, you know what? I'm good. And I don't have to worry about nobody playing crazy with scripts and zens and all of that. At the end of the day, it's all about enjoyment. Whatever you play and whatever you enjoy doing. That's all that matters. Some people get away from that when they play online, and it's not even about having fun anymore. And that's unfortunate. But nevertheless, it is what it is. You guys let me know what you think. 2K online has been a problem for a very long time, and it's not going to change. It is what it is. I highly recommend playing something else, or wait till these games go offline and play offline modes, or just play with your friends. Honestly, just play with your friends. Guys who won't be or girls who won't be doing this type of stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all take it easy, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Be blessed. Peace.